You can't keep a straight face while...
No.
Anyway. Cody's gone. Greetings, Rommies, and welcome to WromComms, the podcast bringing you the joy of sim racing. And to this month's edition, we've not gone weekly yet, have we?
Nope.
On September's edition of WromComms, we have...
Raceroom's big update. Evolution, not revolution.
Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is bad. If you can even get on it. We'll talk about that.
And in the same vein, Fanatec shafted.
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one, grief. Right. Greetings again, Rommies. My name's Eike. I'll be your host for today, and generally sort of controlling the conversation today. This is WromComms. You're familiar with this. No guest today. It's just us three. Possibly a visit to the speculation zone. But next month we have a special guest, Serta.
Yeah, but I'm not saying anything. So we have a special guest. I'm not saying any names or nothing, but we are very happy about the next month's guest and about what is going to happen next month, which is going to be the Sim Racing Expo.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. You're going to have all three of us in the same place and having opinions about sim racing equipment in real life, which will be even more fun.
Even
and
more
possibly
grating.
And I'm carpooling with Eike as well. Behind the
Yeah.
scenes fun fact.
Yeah, so
He's driving all the way from Texas. It's gonna be great.
He's got a,
Audio listeners, you should have seen his
Cody-
face when I said that.
Cody, you understand the thing with the hybrid engine a little bit wrong. Like it's not water and land hybrid.
yeah, these Americans, they're not too good with the whole electric car thing.
Yeah.
But yes, the Sim Racing Expo, I'm going to be driving my my actual car all the way across, part of the way across France, all the way across Belgium, and into Germany, because, good grief, it's so much easier than trying to take planes and trains.
And I'm flying to Heathrow because it's cheaper.
Flying to, what was it, Frankfurt would have cost you double as much as Heathrow, which is bonkers.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah.
Which is great, because that means that Cody can pay my petrol. And he gets to witness the cost of fuel in Europe.
I've witnessed it. I've been there.
Yeah, but have you felt it in your pocket?
I've been there.
Anyway, with that brief aside and the second annual pilgrimage to Dortmund of what hopefully will be at least the next 10 years, as we discussed last year.
Well, 5 years. They have a 5-year contract. So
it's 5 years. 5 years.
So they're on the second of 5, and then we'll see. But this Sim Racing Expo, I mean, I don't want to delve too deep into that. We should do it next month. But this Sim Racing Expo, it seems it's gonna be big because we will have to pick and choose which exhibitors we're gonna visit because there's so many of them.
Yeah. Whereas last year there was we were trying to cover everything. Yeah, we were trying to cover everything. We were trying to get everybody a fair show and a fair shout, and to get their products documented at least. By contrast, there's a distinct possibility that even 3 days might not be enough to get across everything. And again, we then got to edit, get the footage down, edit, do all of the YouTubing stuff as well. So, going to be an interesting time. It's going to be a very busy time for Rom as well. But we'll start with LinkedIn with SRA, a company who was at Sim Racing Expo last year, won't be there this year for very sensible reasons, releasing a not very sensible product. Fanatec, we've discussed what's been going on there for a fairly long time, but they've released a new product. It's an extension for their QR2. Now,
they called it shaft extension. So let the jokes begin. I said it's cheaper than buying a BMW, which is the other shaft extension.
Isn't it Audi that shafts you through 4 rings? There's all of the other jokes that you can make where you've got Acertech did it first with the shaft extension, and other companies
and their
obviously
shafts look nicer.
And their shafts look nicer as well. Although, let's be fair, personal preference.
Black.
Once you go black, you never go back.
No. Yeah, it's not really much of a topic. If it's something that's going to appeal to you, it's going to appeal to you. If it's something that you need, then you clearly need it. It's not like this isn't big news. It's not revolutionary or anything. It's more of they've released one length and one type, which there's no. You can't keep a straight face while.
No.
Anyway. Cody's gone. Breakdown intermission. There's not a lot to say on this. We know all the problems going on with Ender AG. We know what's going on there. I'm sure that they're just trying to get as much as they can out of the door to try and save themselves from complete insolvency. We've not had any updates. I look at COTA. Any further movements going forward? So obviously that's all either negotiations going on behind closed doors. There's other stuff exactly. So they're just trying to empty the what's the word? The stuff that's not money.
Store.
Inventory.
Yeah, they're trying to empty their inventory, get some liquid financial strength going, so that I wasn't prepared for a financial talk. Just to keep the company rolling over in the very least. Obviously, this would have been designed since they were designing QR2, so it's no surprise to see them come out with this. It's just really, really unfortunate timing. And as you saw, the jokes write themselves. They really do.
I mean, I'm surprised it's black because I've been told most shaft extensions are blue.
I'm not sure.
Like the pill?
Oh, I see. That took me a minute. That's bravo.
I mean, come on.
Oh man,
I had to think of Blink 182 to be honest. That's the only reason I got that.
That's a reference. Oh, it's because they talk about that shaft blue.
They talk about little blue pill. Yeah. No, they talk about they'll never go on a little blue pill.
Okay.
Is the culture differences. Speaking of culture differences, did anyone see Linkin Park's show last night?
Nope. Not a band I
can't
follow.
say I did. I've heard a little bit about this though.
They have a female singer now.
Yes,
Linkin Park
and I hear she's good. I hear she's very.
She's mixed.
Okay.
It's complicated.
Okay.
More specifically, she's complicated. Apparently she's a Scientologist and other things. But I watched obviously I watched the show last night in complete ignorance of that. It's not Chester Bennington. It never will be. But it's good enough. And if it means that we get a return of 2000s rock, then cool. That's as far as that goes for me.
I may be skinned by commentators and you alike, but I was always more Korn and Slipknot person. So
no. I am a Korn and Slipknot person. I am also a Linkin Park person.
Fair enough.
Yeah, eclectic music tastes and all that. We've had
very
conversations
eclectic
before,
from rock to rock to rock.
From it's varying shades of rock.
Exactly. 50 Shades of Rock. Which brings us back to the shaft. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Cool. We're getting off to a very, very healthy start. That's all there really was around the Fanatec, around the Fanatec debacle. We did actually have, speaking of companies who haven't updated us, at least MSG is giving us updates as far as their quarter 4 report
Q2.
is concerned.
Q2 24.
Q2. I can't read. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm wearing contact lenses that are a bit old. Quarter 2 report, financial reports released. Again, COTA is the financial person who knows about financial things.
So
I do
they're
the
surviving.
nuts and bolts.
I wouldn't say they have reached a turnaround point, but they even did a very, very, very small earnings, like $200,000. So yeah, they are, I would say, barely surviving, but compared to what was 1 year ago or even half a year before that on Q4 23, they look better. Now, one thing that they were publishing as big and fantastic news, like 13% of the buyers of LMU also bought either the DLC or the season pass. I don't think that's much, but I don't know their financials, so maybe that's saving them. But if I turn the numbers around, it's 87% did not care about any of their DLCs, and I've tried to find the numbers for other sims. I haven't been able to. Nobody is telling anything. Even on the secrecy, so I don't know if 13% is big or not. I would say it's not. I would say anything lower than 50, 60 is bad. But as I said, I don't know. Maybe I mean, they were trying to sell it as a big thing. Wow, 13%. I don't know if it's just management bullshittery or if they were really happy about that.
Was this... I'm trying to look up the DLC, because this wasn't the GT3 cars, was it?
Yeah, that's the so it's the only DLC they've published for now. The only
so it's
paid
the
DLC.
Yeah, it's the 2024 pack, the Lamborghini SC63 and Imola.
Exactly.
For £10, perfectly reasonable value there. Got no issue with that. But I think the thing that people probably don't care too much, because of the updates they did through R-Factor 2 and being able to have the content installed just not usable and things like that, people probably don't care too much. There's not a lot. Like in reality, the only thing you would actually be wanting to buy in that pack is Imola. And there's a lot of
but Imola it's not exactly as if Imola is in no other sim.
Exactly.
It's not like Raceroom publishing Avus and Deepholz and all that. Which I mean, Avus and Deepholz I've only seen in DLCs. So I didn't care about that DLC, and I don't care for the season pass because, in my opinion, it's too expensive. And it seems that I'm not in the minority here because 87% didn't. From what Motorsport Games said, it was about half and half. Half of the 13% bought the one DLC, and half bought the season pass.
So we can expect the half, well, essentially the half that didn't buy the season pass, or that did buy the season pass, won't be purchasing the next packs. That income is in. Yeah, that's as much as they're going to get from those people. But again, it might be the cash injection that MSG need. This is not. Again, we are throwing opinions into the air at the moment. The other, as I say, I think there's a lot of people, me included, who are holding off from Le Mans Ultimate until they have dedicated server support.
I mean, at almost 50 Euro USD a pop. The season pass is a lot of money.
Yes, but at the same time, if you look at it seems as though there is a move going forward. People have learnt from the F1 21, 22, 23, 24 debacle that people don't want to buy brand new games. They would rather buy DLC packs that bring the updated liveries, the updated cars, any new tracks that come to a calendar.
All under one roof.
All under, yeah. I don't want 10 games. I want one game which has all 10 years of content, and I don't mind paying. It's not the money that's the problem. It's the promise of a new game, and then no new game comes. It's just a reskinned the game before, which again we've discussed on this podcast.
Even with worse physics, from what I've heard from F1 24, the physics are crap. The driving feeling is crap. Everyone is saying it may be EA, it may be Codemasters, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The newest version of F1 is horrible.
Which is interesting because F1 23 was a significant step forward. As much as in our review, is it? Yeah, as much as in F1 23, when we were talking about it, the driving was not good. It was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it also wasn't bad. For them to take a step back in 24, it shows the issue with keeping on trying to release new games and that sort of thing. So maybe this is the way that the market's going, or the industry's going. Maybe it'll be for the best. I did say we'd go into the speculation zone. But yeah. Moving on from companies who have at least spoken to us, companies who have released rather interesting updates. COTA again. Raceroom. How is it?
So, we published a video a couple of days ago, or around a week ago. They have been hyping in their marketing the graphics update as a revolution within Raceroom. I don't see it that way. I said as much in the review, but what I know from the data that they have given us, and also from public from information they have made public, is that they have cleansed a lot under the hood. Things that, just as an example, not going deep into the software thing, things that are not visible are not rendered by the engine. The engine doesn't care, and it doesn't eat up CPU or GPU cycles, rendering something that you won't see. And that's a very important point, because it gives you then, for things that you see, it frees up GPU and CPU cycles that you can use for physics, for better graphics, for different graphics, and so on. So they have, it seems that for the last half year, they really cleaned up all the graphic stuff. And that's something that we cannot see right now. What we see right now, in my opinion, is okay-ish. It's nicer. You have reflections on the cars, which it's an important change, but it's not a revolution. I think the revolution, or no, the evolutionary steps will come within the next months, when they are able, as they said, to put things like day and night cycles, to make, for example, at night you have to work with reflections a lot. Imagine if they even go with rain, and then you have night driving, rain and lights and reflections. You need wiggle room within the code, within the graphics, to be able to do that. So I think in the future months, year, we're gonna see stuff like that added to it. That, the way I understood Raceroom, is only possible because they are now not going to the limit the CPU and GPU and the limit of what the code and their engine is able to do, but the engine now has more wiggle room. That about the graphics. The DTM 95, the two cars are great. They feel like that time. They added Avus, Diepholz, and Hockenheimring in the historically accurate configuration.
Is that the drive through the forest without the chicanes, or with the chicane?
Well, it's with the chicanes, but it still drives through the forest.
Yeah.
But without the chicanes would be before DTM 95. I think they changed that in the 70s or 80s. I think
it was the 80s that they changed it. I remember
80s,
the F1 F1
so,
was taking chicanes.
So Hockenheimring in that configuration you can also find in Automobilista too. But in any way, now you can drive all the tracks that DTM 95 drove and all the cars that DTM 95 drove. And of course, if you love that time, and I know of a lot of people who love that time of racing and these cars, it's great. I do not like the fact that each track, Diepholz, Hockenheimring, and Avus, cost about 8 euro USD, which I think is too much. They should have made a DTM 95 package, but okay, that's where our opinions differ. Luckily, we got beta access and did not pay a dime for that, so we're happy and thankful about that. The DTM 2024 also feels great. It's not out yet to buy. It's gonna be out in the next weeks. But I'm not a big fan of the modern DTM. So yeah, it looks great. What I liked a lot was because I love the track, I gotta say, was Oschersleben, which is a fantastic track. And so as I said in the video, maybe it's confirmation bias, but they said in their information that through laser scan and the use of drones, they had made a complete new version of the track, and that they had added banking where there was no banking before. And at least I think you feel it while driving. I was able to drive more fluidly through Oschersleben, which is a dang difficult track. So I liked the upgrade a lot, and I accept paying anew for that one, even if said we got access to the beta, we didn't have to, but I would gladly pay for that. While for Avus, for example, or Hockenheimring, I wouldn't. Diepholz maybe, because other than in some Assetto Corsa mods, I don't think that Diepholz is anywhere to be seen. So if you fancy driving on a plane, what you might call it, on an airport, a local airport airfield, that has just been reconfigured for one race or two, for the DTM, it's interesting. All in all, I think they're going in the right direction. If the graphics updates under the hood, what we don't see, are as big as they have said, and it looks like that, then as I said, it's an evolution, and the next evolutionary steps can be very interesting, because it would mean that they are graphics wise moving the engine, which is over 10 years old now, moving the engine ahead and bringing it to 2024.
Yeah, it's from what you're saying, and obviously from the video, it sounds as though it's framework building, as opposed to like the revolution has come from the building blocks that they use, rather the upfront stuff that absolutely.
As I said in the video, one thing that I think is sad is that it's DTM and DTM. And what else? They've I mean, they had WTCR and that's dead. They have DTM and that's GT3. Well, no, they still drive.
It's still well alive. It's just another GT3 formula.
Completely uninteresting to me. So I hope that they are going to be able to get new content. Oh, haha! They are going to be able to bring new content because I forgot they brought drifting.
They did.
There
yes.
is
it good?
Drifting.
I don't know.
I'm not one of the. I'm not a drifter. So I did not try it because I'm not good at it. And before I say, "Oh, it's fantastic," just because I was able to drift once, no, I don't know enough about drifting in real life or sim drifting to be able to issue an honest opinion. So I shut up.
Okay, I'll have to hop in.
Yeah,
I do some drifting.
That's both of us. Of
course. Yeah.
That's both of us.
Do so and let us know because they are not planning yet to make it a special series within Raceroom. They only have it because Red Bull asked for it and maybe put some money on the table for that. I don't know. And they have it in their test drive that they have. But they have it in there, and I suppose when they look at the numbers and there's enough people drifting around, they may think, hey, maybe we can sell something there. More power to them.
You have to have a fairly versatile engine to be able to pull off grip racing and drift racing. There's no other easy way of saying that.
Well, they freed some code, so maybe that's one of the evolutions. I don't know.
Maybe. But we'll see. Oh, Cody and I will have to jump on and see if we can get to the bottom of it. I can see you've been furiously typing away there, Cody.
I am, yes, because
because you've got an awfully big topic to talk about, and one that I don't know about you, I was very much looking forward to.
Yeah, so Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is a game that is coming out and is now in an early access release for those who have pre-ordered. Theoretically, you can play this game if you have pre-ordered. I think it's only on like the gold tier though that allowed you to pre-order. You know, they do like the standard, the deluxe, and the gold release. So on the most expensive tier, giving these people $80, you get early access to the game. I know. So
$80, man.
For your $80, you get a loading screen simulator.
Perfect.
Let's back up a little bit. So, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, it releases officially next week. We've launched early. Earlier, people have been playing this game. Those who got alpha and beta build keys, reviewers, some limited people who signed up have been able to experience the demo for this game. Initial responses were that it's a decent game. The physics are, SimCady, that's Test Drive Unlimited, supposed to be more racing game than sim, which you might be asking why we're covering this. It's because this became big time news, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. Or I'll tell you more about why here in a moment. But yeah, it's not perfect. The AI cars, they're supposed to scale with the difficulty. That seemed to work pretty good in that you drive better and faster, so the AI cars become more competitive. So it's always a competitive, fun arcade racing experience. However, they were in the demo, they were crashing out on their own. They would lock their brakes into turns when they shouldn't have been. So there were some issues there. And the worst one was in the demo, the optimization of this game was horrible. If you had, there was somebody I saw, they tested it on an RTX 3070 Ti and a i7 10th gen, I think. i7 10700. On low settings, they were able to get 30 frames per second at 1080p. So that was rough. So the alpha and beta builds showed that there's promise with this game, but it has a way to go. It needs some help.
So it
now,
seems to me. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. We've gotten now to this early access launch, and people were excited to see how it has changed since that demo was out. It's now been out for over a day, and most people still don't know what it's like because they can't get into the game. Yeah. So, the servers have been spotty at best. If you can get in the game, good for you. You count yourself one of the lucky ones. But if you can't, it's an always online MMO game, and so all you have is just the loading screen, and then it says, sorry, servers are down, there's been an error, please try again later. So there's a bunch of people who have paid $80 for an intro screen and an error message and early access to the error message and the intro screen. So it's a rough launch. The Steam reviews are right now sitting at mostly negative, the darkest red that a Steam review gets. One user wrote that it is simply a login simulator, not exactly what you want from your racing game. And another user wrote, if you want your game to be always online, have always online servers. That's kind of the crux of it.
It's not even the complete release. Imagine if they would have done the complete release. It's only a small release for those who pre-ordered, who I would now gather the thought that it's maybe 10%, at most 20% of the user base. So if the servers are overloaded now,
yeah, full release, and all the other people who have pre-ordered it with the standard tier, they have paid their money. They will be coming in on the full release, supposedly.
It doesn't. How do games companies continue to make the same mistakes?
Because people still buy that stuff. I mean, let's be clear. One thing that I'm starting to notice is sims or racing games have arrived at the state that other games out there have. Like
tends to trash
the buzz around Baldur's Gate 3, for example, was that when it released after the early access, which was very well used by Larian, when they released, it was a good game. Like, it had here and there a couple of bugs, but all in all, it was a good game. So imagine the state of gaming software nowadays when you get praised because for once your release is not a complete mess. I mean, I've been in software for most of my life. I have released. I have been encountered with crappy releases and had to change things so that it became a good release. And I'm thinking, Le Mans Ultimate, when it came out in early access, it was horrendous. Many people were having issues. Some people were not. Exactly. Like you had enormous issues. I tried it a month ago or so, and it worked okay-ish for me, and it was nice driving. One thing we haven't talked, Pista Motorsport has come out.
Yeah.
And the early access is, sorry to say, crap. Like we had people commenting on our review saying I asked for a refund, and I understand that. Would I not buy it because we review every sim out there and we check every sim out there, and because it's what we do? I would have refunded it too, because it didn't recognize my SimuCube. It only recognized one of my 3 pedals. The graphics are nowhere to be seen. Yeah, it's not that it did not recognize my pedals. It recognized one of the 3 pedals.
That's an achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand it either. So, all in all,
it's iPedal controlled.
Yeah, exactly. All in all, it's a very, very bad early access release. So it's the second strike this year, and now TDU Solar Crown is the third one that is doing early access with software that seemingly has not seen QA in its life.
Well, there may be some reasons why this is happening for TDU Solar Crown behind the scenes. So, Kiloton, they're on Steam as KT Racing for this, but Kiloton is the developer, and probably didn't help things. But 2 days before launch, they went on strike against their publisher Nacon.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, so they cited a lack of transparency and possibilities for negotiations. They cited a number of things, but this is basically the same as their previous strike in, I think it was August of 2023, which was against Nacon for the same thing. They have said, here's a quote that kind of sums up the gist of their main complaints against their publisher. They say, management regularly brings up the studio's supposed independence, but every demand we make gets rejected with the argument that there should be coherence within the Nacon group. So essentially they're saying, you bought us, I think they were bought however many years ago, but you bought us, you told us that we would get to remain independent and do things as has been working for us in the past, but now that we've been bought, we're told to toe the line, and we don't get to have a say in how things go, even with our own games. So we're not
independent
getting to call the
as
shots.
long as we do what you tell us.
Yeah, so they're not getting to call the shots on the creation of their own game. So the management decisions around, I would imagine, timelines and QA testing, how many rounds of revisions are needed before we go to launch, that sort of thing. Those sorts of decisions are being made not by the developers themselves, but by the publishers saying, well, our other studios are doing it this way, why aren't you? And clearly this, Kiloton going on strike, though I don't blame them at all for this situation. Clearly this is not going to help the game issues get fixed faster. So will we see this game fixed before launch? They released a statement, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown's account, I believe, released a statement saying that they were working on getting things fixed, but the strike was announced 2 days ago, and 3 days ago, and as far as I am aware, it has not ended yet. So that release or that announcement that, hey, we're going to fix everything, it is probably most likely in the long run true, or mostly true, but in the short term, will it get fixed before launch? I don't see it as very likely.
That doesn't bode well for these Endurance Motorsport series that they announced, at least the Steam page is there, a while ago, because you know who is making that one?
Do tell.
Isn't it?
KT Racing and Nacon.
Yeah.
So exactly.
I have a feeling that they're trying to. That tonight's going to be a good night.
Did you get the shaft extender?
I got the shaft extender. Yeah, I did. Yep. It fits perfectly. I have a theory that they're using Solar Crown as the because it's the mainstream appeal. It's not the sim racing one.
Mm-hmm.
KT Racing are probably trying to get as much leverage as they can to be able to do Endurance Motorsport Series EMS in the way that they want to. KT Racing have made lots and lots of games in the past. They know how to make a racing game, and they know how to make it good.
Yeah, I have a WRC 10, I think it was, that would disagree with that, but okay.
Generations was good, but again, we don't know how long they've been putting up with this.
Yeah.
This overmanagement. Yeah. So they might see the writing on the wall for their own studio and think, look, if we don't put our line in the sand, then this EMS is going to flop. And it comes back to do you know what it reminded me of was the conversation we had with Marcel when he was talking about ACC, and them using a dedicated fork of Unreal Engine to make ACC work and to make VR work. Now, sim racing is not like other gaming. I know I'm preaching to the choir here in both you two and our audience, but it's something that most people in other sectors that are adjacent to sim racing, like your developers and your publishers and things like that, they still haven't quite clocked onto that. They still haven't quite understood that it's not as easy as making a Baldur's Gate 3. Not to say that making Baldur's Gate 3 is easy either. But, like, if a character walks a bit funny, it's not going to be game breaking. Whereas if a car handles a bit funny in a sim, it could be game breaking. No, hell, it has been game breaking. There are entire swaths of cars that were unusable in Project Cars 2 because you couldn't. They weren't made properly. There are entire swathes of cars in Forza games even today that you can't use because they aren't competitive, they aren't balanced, they weren't built properly. The list goes on and on. Hell, even Kunos has had to fix some of their older cars recently because the collision box was hitting the floor.
Oops.
How does that happen? You're modelling a car. How do you model the hitbox lower than the... Anyway. The point is that these things will get noticed by sim racers, whereas your average gamer might not pay that much attention to it. So if they can get their line in the sand and if they can get what they want now and fix TDU Solar Crown and prove to Nacon, no, we have to do it this way, otherwise it's not going to work. When they come round to doing EMS, hopefully we'll be looking at a better work cycle that is sim racing focused.
That's the optimistic way of seeing the situation.
Our fingers and toes are crossed for you, KT Racing. We really are. We wish you all the best. Obviously, this kind of mismanagement oversight, we hate to see it. You're doing the right thing in making it public. More power to you. We absolutely support you. I sincerely hope that you get everything that you want so that you can make the game that you want to make.
But that's only because we're Pinko Kami tree huggers, socialist Europeans. Even Cody is Pinko Kami tree hugger. One thing that to me at least it looks like is LMU went early access with, I'm gonna say, half a sim because they needed the money. Motorsport Games was really in dire need of money. I think Pista Motorsport did exactly the same because I don't think that is the level that you the level of quality that you want to publish something. The graphics are horrible. The force feedback, I've been told, is okay for those who have been able to activate their wheel. As I said, I wasn't.
Oh, that reminds me of a certain other release that I covered a few years ago.
Yeah. Pretty much. So
NASCAR 21 Ignition for those newer to the channel.
So I maybe with TDU it's the same. Like there is a point in software development, especially in gaming, like when you are making a game, you are investing time and resources and people, and at the end of the day what you're investing is a lot of money that where you don't see a return on investment. You are just sinking that money into the code. And there is a moment where you see, okay, I have to draw the line here. I have to publish. I have to see a return on investment, because if I don't go live now selling that and expecting to sell to X people, I'm going to lose money. I'm going to end up dying without having published anything. As we saw with Sony and Concord, I think is the game that they just pulled out after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even that sometimes doesn't save you, but
that was an 8-year development cycle for that game, by the way.
Yeah, imagine that. And I think for whatever reason, we have reached that point in sim racing. Not a good thing. I hope and expect that what is happening with Assetto Corsa Evolution, which was supposed to come out in July, is that they are just getting it to a quality that when they come out, people are going to buy it and are going to say, oh, it's at least as good as Assetto Corsa, and it's the Assetto Corsa for 2024. And it's very possible that they are keeping 505 games at arm's length. And that's why they didn't go out in July. So, as I said, being somebody who's been in software development for a long time, I understand it's ready when it's ready, and I'm not releasing something that is half-assed and the customer kicks me in the lower region because he is absolutely not happy. I rather, as somebody who's been in management and has gone to a customer and has said, we're not releasing this week, we are releasing in 2 months because we found a bug that is critical, and believe me, you don't want to see that bug, and then you have to stand the ire of the customer, which is completely acceptable, because if you say you're publishing in, I don't know, January, and then you say, well, you have to wait two more months, it's painful. But as somebody who has been saying, who had to say that, I prefer to go to the customer and grovel in the sand and say, we're sorry, we're releasing 2 months late, than releasing at the date we promised with something that breaks the minute somebody tries to, for example, log in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also feel like for an online experience, like an MMO, I feel like stress testing the servers is something that feels pretty obvious. It feels like that maybe wasn't done in this case.
Here's the issue, is that there is a single player campaign. Like, for example, a really simple example is pretty nice parallel as well. Burnout Paradise, the original one, the 2012? I want to say, no, it may be older. Anyway, the original Burnout Paradise. The servers have gone down, but the game still launches, and you can still drive around in your in whatever cars you've got on the save. You just can't do multiplayer stuff. Or you could, last time I checked. That may have changed now. But
different to what happened to the crew.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. But the crew worked on launch.
Which brings me to a small aside. We commented that in one of the news. It's the Stop Killing Games petition that has been raised to the European Union. And if there's enough people signing that petition, link is gonna be in the description of this video. If there's enough people of the European Union, of which you two are not part, I'm sorry, that sign that petition, we will force the European Commission to take a look at that and maybe produce a law that forbids companies to do what happened to the crew.
Question. While we're at Sim Racing Expo, are we constituents of the European Union and can we sign?
No, you're not. Unluckily,
Damn
you're not citizens of a country that is part of the European Union.
But I want to be.
to Ike, I'm gonna say yet.
Yeah.
Because Starmer has done a goodwill around the EU, and the noises that he's making, he's saying no, we don't want to roll back Brexit, not at all. But can we talk about the contract once again?
Can we talk about having some part of the EU? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it's just something like Norway, or is it Norway? Norway that's not a full member, but they partake in the European. Yeah.
You can have a little EU as a treat.
Yeah. I'll be perfectly fair. The freedom of movement is the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, in the very nicest way, Cody, there's a very slim chance, other than maybe going to a sim racing expo in
Chicago 25.
Was it Chicago? Yeah. There's very little reason why I'd want to go to America. However, anywhere in Europe, there's lots of places that I would really like to go in Europe. And being able to, growing up in the 90s and early 2000s and being able to go to places on your driver's license and things like that was wonderful. Made it like a mini America.
You know what? I'll marry you at the Sim Racing Expo, and then you can become German
and we'll be part of the LGBT community, which
you can extend your shafts together. You thought we were done with that? No, we're still making jokes on that one.
There's enough.
Just like the shaft. This joke's going to go on forever.
There you go. I believe you have Fanatec machinery too, don't you?
I do not. No.
Oh,
I have friends that have Fanatec machinery, and they're currently trying to get out of the ecosystem.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, So all of to return to the Fanatec thing for just a second, with the serious face on, there's no way in hell that Fanatec goes under in such a way that you don't have your warranties honoured. That's not going to happen.
Look, there's no way that anybody is, or at least anybody with a brain, which a lot of management don't have, but you have a brand that is established. You have a brand that has been publishing stuff. You have a brand that has issues, absolutely. But I believe, looking at the data, that the fundamentals of Fanatec are sound. So there is some there. And in my opinion, being bought by Corsair would have been the better option, because those people know about hardware and about engineering and all that. But I don't know who in the end is going to end up buying those. But I would expect that if you plan a middle term return on investment, Fanatec is going to bring that. In 3 to 5 years, I think you would be able to get Fanatec in the in the black, and even start earning big bucks.
Question: Moser buying them?
Could be.
Not as likely as Corsair, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because right, Seth said that Corsair would be a really good purchase, they would be a really good brand to own Fanatec.
Mm-hmm.
And to be perfectly fair, I'm more likely to buy a Corsair DD than a Fanatec DD for some reason. I don't know how the chemicals in my brain make that okay, but yeah. But there was talk of Moser potentially buying Fanatec.
You know, I've heard talk about a lot of stuff. So, at the moment, let's see what
WromComms buying.
Exactly. Let's see what we have to say about that next month, because it seems that Fanatec delivers news every quarter or something like that. Not all good, but in any way, in my opinion, Fanatec is a brand that, or let's put it this way, if I had the amount of money needed to buy Fanatec, I would.
You would, yeah. What about
if
you
the
could
amount
raise
of money needed to buy Fanatec, I'm not sure you guys would hear from me ever.
Right. Alternative way of spinning this, though, because that's a very, what's the word? Idealistic way to look at the situation. If you were in a position to open a line of credit to finance buying Fanatec, would you?
Yeah.
That's
sure.
the face I was looking for from Cody.
Sure. I mean, there are reasons why the banks have closed their lines of credit, and from reading between the lines, and really, like, this is the opinionated zone. Reading between the lines, it very much looked as if the bank said, we don't believe or we have no trust anymore in Yakamaya. Guys, get your stuff together, put somebody else, and then we move ahead.
We'll see.
Because when Yakamaya was ousted, the banks gave Fanatec a quarter. And while Corsair was saying, hey, we are interested, the banks didn't say anything. And the moment that they had to stop all that buy-in from Corsair was when the bank said, guys, that's it. And when they had to go into insolvency.
Yeah. It's, again, a difficult situation.
Mm-hmm.
We are, however, going to finish up with something a little more positive. And we're going to hand over to Cody. And hopefully, if Cody's very, very nice, he'll send some pictures and video over to COTA in a format that he can use, because Cody went on a field trip.
Cody
really far away as well.
Say again?
Really far away as well, as I understand it. I think you went a whole half a state away or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Which for Europeans is 3 countries?
I would not describe it as a long trip. I went to Chicago. That was a far journey.
That's fair.
Ish. Farther journey. I mean, earlier this year or late last year, something like that, I went to California. That's a long journey. This was merely 4 hours by car to be in the same state. That's not a long journey. America. And so I went down to Austin to see the World Endurance Championship round at the Circuit of Americas. Circuit of the Americas.
Circuit of the Americas.
The very one. And it was phenomenal. Absolutely, it was phenomenal. Of course, the race was, as you can watch it on the World Endurance championship ways to watch. It'll be on YouTube in like a week or two, that sort of thing. I think it's on Peacock in the US. I don't know how y'all get it over there. Probably just the WC.
With a shaft extender.
YouTube. With a shaft extender, yeah.
Sure. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. One of the big things that you get out of going to a race like this is all the like things to do other than watching the race. Of course, watching the race was amazing. We started off on the start-finish straight. For the start, we went up to the top of the hill at turn 1, which is a heck of a hike. I went with my family, and my parentals are older, and it was a long hike up a steep hill, but they made it. I'm very proud of them. And the view was phenomenal. It was an absolutely great view, great experience. We went, took the trolley down. I've told Ike about this. He has opinions.
Oh God.
Yeah, we took the trolley over to the main fan zone area, and that was pretty cool. But we saw
there for a second. Pause there for a second, because you say trolley, right? Which is, if you're from San Francisco, a trolley is a tram. If you're from the UK, a trolley is a shopping cart.
Yes.
If you're from Texas, what's a trolley, Cody?
So there is there are streetcars and the like in this region. Those are also called trolleys. We also in Arlington, Texas, they have a trolley that's basically a bus that's decorated up like a trolley that goes from all of the different sports venues to the hotels.
What kind of trolley did you have at the Circuit of the Americas?
It was in true American fashion. Two trailers that had seats fitted to them that were connected to each other, and that was being towed by a Dodge Ram 2500 pickup. Dually. Hell yeah. Hell yeah it was.
You could have just fitted a cable car. Just go from turn 1 over to that stupid spire on turn 15 and put a cable car in there. There you go. It doesn't have to be so complicated.
But it wouldn't be Merca.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, yeah,
So
these
you
were
went on
they
this-
had the Cummins diesel engine in them, too. They got that.
Yeah.
It was going.
Okay, that is at least a redeeming factor. It has the silly diesel engines in.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, you went on this trailer.
Yes, yeah. So we took the trolley trailer over to the fan zone area, and that was pretty cool. They had concerts going on throughout the race weekend. We didn't go to any of those. We did go by it whenever they were doing line dancing. They really wanted to bring the Texas aspect to the World Endurance Championship. So they really hammed it up this year. I was there the last time that they had this World Endurance Championship round in Texas. And back in 2020, it was nowhere near as like yeehaw kind of Texas, but they were really leaning into it. They had a bunch of people in cowboy hats. They had at the beginning of the like ceremonies for the race, they had flag bearers come out with on horseback, which was pretty cool. You know,
Okay, that's kind of
Western
cool.
saddles, right? Yeah,
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
it was pretty cool. They went up and down the start finish. I was waiting in line for pizza at the time, so I didn't get to see it in true American fashion. But we did get back to the start. Pizza and burgers, yeah, very very American. But
Burger
it's the
pizza?
standard fare food. What's up?
Burger pizza.
Burger pizza?
No, not at the same. There was pizza and there was burgers.
We have burger meat pizzas.
Yeah, you can get
Very good.
sausage or beef on a pizza here too. Anyways, but yeah, it was very fun. Some of the stuff that I didn't expect to to see, just because I hadn't really paid that much attention. But they also had the Mustang Challenge, which is a new racing one make series for this year. So it's all the new generation Ford Mustang, all racing against each other on track, and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, which was very cool because that was an excellent precursor to watching the Lamborghini GT3 cars go around in the World Endurance Championship. Speaking of which, I still miss GTE. It was cool to see the GT3 cars. It was cool to see the diversity. The GTE cars, I will say, were more exciting to watch. It was fun.
I drove a GTE car in R Factor 2 the other day, and it was just like, this is just so much better than GT3. Why?
Yeah.
Money.
Anyways,
Costs.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. In the Mustang Challenge, I didn't know this till I showed up there, but Frankie Muniz is actually racing in the Mustang Challenge. And take a wild guess at who I ran into in the elevator in my hotel. Frankie Muniz.
Yes,
Did you say something?
What's up?
Did you say something?
I am much too polite to walk up to a famous person and go, "Hey, you're a famous person, right?"
No.
So
no,
I
do
just
that though.
No,
we did have
at least when they go out of the elevator, or whoever goes first, say, "Hey, always 1 liter in the tank." Bye.
Well, I actually wasn't aware until the next morning when he went and said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines," that he was actually there. So I didn't immediately make the connection that he was racing in the Mustang Challenge until I looked it up later. But yeah, so imagine, my shock when I come down out of the elevator and I see a face, and I'm like, that's a familiar face. Where do I know that face from? Oh my God, that's Frankie Muniz. And so there was that 3 seconds of cognition where I was in the elevator, he was outside of the elevator, he had his bag or suitcase or whatever, and we're just staring at each other for 3 seconds while I'm going, who's this person? And he's going, God, I hope he doesn't recognize me. I'm sure.
or he went, oh, let's see which reaction I get today.
Yeah. There's only ever 2 reactions. There's either the ignore them and pretend they don't exist, or that I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be the second guy.
Yeah. No, the correct response is to say something appropriate for that you might to the weekend or something like that.
That was the thing. I was kicking myself later whenever I found out that he was driving in the Mustang Challenge, because I really wanted to ask him how the car handled. In retrospect, I'm like, man, I want to know how does that drive?
It's a 2024 Mustang on slicks. That's
does
all
it turn? That's the question.
No. It's a Mustang. It never turns. These things don't turn.
But does it feel like it can turn? Because I know it's the stock car, but they've done things to the to the chassis. It's got a roll cage, all that. It should turn better.
Go and test drive a Mustang, and
on TDU.
Oh, maybe not yet.
No, go and drive the Mustang on ACC. No, wait, don't do that because that's trash. Anyway.
Well, here's the thing. You drive the Mustangs, they don't turn. I've been in Shelbys. They'll turn. A Shelby can turn, Yeah. So it's, is it going to handle like a Shelby or is it going to handle like a Mustang? That's my question. A race spec Mustang. So
I would say, yeah.
In
the
retrospect,
GT3s.
kicking myself, I wish that was if I was going to interrupt his piece, that was what I was going to interrupt his piece with, and not like, oh my God, I love Malcolm in the Middle. I'm such a fan. Can I get an autograph? I wasn't going to do that.
No, the correct.
But I am a fan of Malcolm in the Middle, and I did kind of want his autograph. So
No,
there's
what
that
you do,
too. But I'm polite enough.
Yeah, no. As you say, what you do is you make it relevant to what's going on, or the reason why he's there. Obviously, you didn't know that at the time, but hey, out of interest, so did you have a local announcer on the radio during Mustang Challenge then? or was it Hindolf?
I think for the IMSA held events, they had Hindorf.
They had Hindi,
For the WEC,
that's cool.
It was local track announcers, and if I wanted the race broadcast, I had to pull that up on my phone.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. No, it's just it's different depending on which track they go to. It seems at the moment. I know they were at Mid Ohio and they had a local announcer at the track. But obviously Hindolf did the production on the online broadcasts. But it sounds like a really good weekend then.
It was amazing. Absolutely. I had a blast. I highly recommend it. Probably the WEC is a better experience for fans than most. Actually, I will say it's a better experience than even NASCAR with hot pit passes. I like the level of access that you get. I ended up not getting the paddock pass this year just because we got tickets too late. But when I went in 2020, I got the paddock pass experience, and you get to go right up to the cars. Other than like someone going, "Hey, don't do that," like you could get within touching distance of $1 million world class machinery. And I got signatures from all the drivers. I still have a WEC hat signed by Norman Nato, which is pretty darn cool.
That's very cool.
And they ended up winning that race as well. And it was really funny too because this is back in 2020. We're discussing historical WEC now. But he was racing with Rebellion, Norman Nato, and on the Rebellion team was I think Senna's nephew or something like that. Bruno Senna. That was it.
Yeah.
He was on the team, and so there was like this big old long line to get the autograph of a Senna, right? Racing royalty, of course. That makes sense. And I just like waltz right up to Norman Nato, who's got no like line to meet him. I walk past all the people, waiting for Bruno Senna's autograph, and I'm just like, "Hi, Norman, can you sign my thing?" And his look was of confusion. more than anything else. He signed it. He happily signed it, but he seemed very confused that I walked up to him and not his teammate. Yes. Now, to be fair, I would not have known who Bruno Senna was by look. I knew of him. I knew he was on the team, so I just walked up to Norman Nato because I know Norman Nato's face. So I walked up to him and he signed my hat. I still have it. It's in my closet over there. Thought about bringing it for the race. Decided not to. Bought my own hat. It was cool. But it was such last time around and this time around, even without the paddock passing, the fan experience is just so nice at the World Endurance Championship. I've actually never been to any sporting event in the United States where they freely give out sunscreen. That was cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's
like
really handy.
Water,
like
sunscreen, like everything was there and freely available for everyone. It was awesome. They're like, it's hot out. We're gonna give people what they need to be safe in the hot environment. I've never had that before. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either. Not even in theme parks and places like that do you get actual free supplies, basically.
Yes. So super cool. Really happy I went, and I would highly recommend it. Go right ahead.
I was gonna say, what we need to do is get Cody over here for the 24 hours of Nürburgring. COTA.
Sure.
Yes, please.
If you want atmosphere and experience,
I'll take it.
And hail, apparently. We'll need to sort that out. No,
and fog.
With regards to the WEC, fog's a yearly occurrence. That's fine. It's not fog. It's smoke from all the barbecues and parties going on.
Well, this year the Nürburgring became like the Nürburgring 9 hours because of fog.
Nürburgring 9 hours because of fog. Yeah. The question that I have is the number one noise out of the LMHs, the hypercars, for everyone is
Cadillac.
What's second?
Oh, I want to say it was the Lamborghinis.
Yeah, I was like, because this is the question that always stumps people: is like, what's behind the Cadillac in the noise department?
Yeah, I want to say the Lamborghinis, definitely not the Alpines or Alpines. Yeah, it becomes a much closer race, I would say, between Lamborghini, Ferrari, and Toyota. I think all of those are at similar decibel levels.
No,
the
not
Porsche
decibel
wasn't-
levels, just noise, just how good the noise is.
Oh, how good the noise is! Because
Yeah.
there's how loud the noise is.
No,
and
we
there's
don't
how
want loud.
good the
We
noise
don't
is.
need loud. We want a nice sounding engine. Nice sounding
Gotcha.
car.
I mean,
Purring like a kitty cat.
I gotta stick with the Porsche. The Porsche
Yeah.
hypercar was amazing. The best sounding car out of all of the race weekend as a whole, though, you would think I would say the Mustangs, but it was actually the Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars. Those things
they're
sound
terrifying.
amazing.
They're terrifying, aren't they? They're awful.
No,
But
I
yeah.
like them.
No.
You might be saying like, oh, they're awful, right? But yeah, no.
No.
I genuinely love them.
Yeah, no, they absolutely scream. They absolutely scream, and if you don't know what they are, they're terrifying.
Yep.
It's one of those. Yeah, you can't beat a V10, man. You can't beat a V10. I mean, unless you've got a V12. But did you know there was a version of the BMW Z3 that had a V12 engine in it? It was a one-off. It was a one-off prototype. And I want one.
I don't fit in a Z3. How does a V12 fit in a Z3?
I don't know, but it exists, and it's in a museum. It's in a BMW museum in Germany. So
I might have seen it then. Okay.
and the best thing is,
Yeah, go through the
bright
photos
yellow.
that you made. You made so
Yeah,
many
I'll
photos.
have to because I went to
It's
that
a-
museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bright yellow Z3. Hopefully you've got a picture,
Okay.
but yeah, it's
Probably.
V12 BMW Z3 is everything that I want. That's just I'm sorry, you can't beat that. And BMW, if you're listening, bin off the BMW M4 GT3, give us another Z4 GT3. Or Toyota, build us a Supra GT3. I don't care. I want that chassis, that teeny tiny little chassis, back in GT3 racing. It needs to.
Yeah, the
It's
Z4 GT3 in all the sims that have it is my
It's the best.
go-to GT3 car if like older machinery is competitive.
Yeah.
It's
It's 650S for me because English. And then it's the Z4 because it's just so cool. It's so cool.
650S I think is the prettiest one. Oh, hey,
Correct.
speaking of various cars, nice sounding cars, that sort of thing, I got to drive on the track. I did.
Did you?
Ooh.
I did.
The whole
Epic.
What's up? Yeah,
whole
Should we,
yeah,
should we drop past Zolder on the way to Dortmund and see if they'll let us drive on there?
Ah,
Oh, there you go. So yeah, we got the car corral tickets for my car. So we brought. For those who don't know, I have been at this point kind of long term borrowing my mom's 2001 Porsche Boxster S. Yes, and I'm doing that while I'm fixing my car, and it has taken so long at this point just because it's been too darn hot to go outside to go into the garage and fix things. So that's what you do in the summer. You hibernate in Texas. But it's getting cooler, so it's going to get fixed. But anyway, so I've been driving, dailying a manual
Porsche
2001
Boxster
Porsche Boxster S. And so we drove it down to Austin. That is the car that we road trip down to Austin in.
Hell yes.
Yep. We could not fit 2 suitcases, so we
No.
took just 2 bags and put them in the back.
That's how you Porsche.
that
Yeah.
car is the kind of car where you have enough space for 2 credit cards. That's it.
It actually
for
has
the
a
tolls.
front and a rear trunk. So you're doing
does
better
it?
than you would do in a 911.
So what you're saying is Tesla copied Porsche?
Tesla copied Porsche Porsche copied the Toyota MR2.
Very good. Very good.
Which was, when I was growing up as a kid, my mom's sports car was a blue 1986 Toyota MR2.
I think
and what did
Porsche
she
copied the Beetle, but let's not go there. Because the Beetle,
when did she crash
the
it?
original Beetle is a rear engine.
Yes.
It is. But yeah, so I got to drive on the track. Parade laps, so I had a car in front of me and a car behind me. But I did end up getting it up to, I think, 70 or 80 miles an hour in some spots.
Doesn't matter. Honestly, any speed doesn't matter, does it really? Like,
it was very cool.
There
was a Toyota Sequoia or some big Japanese SUV in front of us.
Yes.
We spent half a lap behind, and then in the S's, they waved us by. and then it was us and a much newer Porsche Boxster.
Awesome.
Just kind of like weaving through the corners together. It was a blast. Absolutely, really fun rowing through the gears at Circuit of the Americas. I will say, for as much crap as that track gets, the variation of corners and the up and down undulations really does feel like a roller coaster, and it is incredibly enjoyable to drive.
There's only one sim that I don't like COTA in, and that's ACC.
Oh.
Because that roller coaster, you don't feel it. It's
that,
not
like, up and down.
You don't feel the undulation. You jump into R-Factor Draw, Set a Course, or AMS, or any game that's got COTA in, and you can see and you can feel the car moving around and that sort of thing. ACC just feels absolutely dead because it's ACC. Which is really disappointing because obviously all of my racing is in ACC at the moment. So every time we go to COTA, it's just one continuous complaint, and it's just like, this could be so much better. I know how good this track is. I could be driving it in R-Factor 2 in GT3 cars and having a much better time of it.
Another thing. This will be the last thing I mentioned.
No. This is great. This is
off of the okay. Off of the racetrack in the fan zone. There is this like grand circle area. It's where they have Radwood every year, so I'm familiar with that area. It's behind. So whenever you come in off the backstretch, you brake, you turn, and then there's this big complex of corners. There's
where the tower is
on the far side of that. Yeah, that wrap around. It's where the tower is. That area, behind that area, there's this big like fan area. There's a reflecting pool for the tower, and that's where, like, if there's cool stuff going on during the race, like concerts, whatever, it's there. And so Ford brought a semi-truck trailer that opens up and has a bunch of racing simulator, like a bunch of motion rigs in it.
Nice.
That was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Running iRacing, I suppose.
R-Factor 2, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were running R-Factor 2. Yeah, so I was thinking, man, I could love
champions.
This.
Yeah, man.
They had the Bronco Raptor out, and they had the new Mustang Dark Horse out. Yeah. And they had, I think, 2 or 3 or 4 sims, somewhere like that. I got footage of it. Of one guy racing in one of them that I can share, but they had I think each sim set up on a different car that they had actually like positioned outside of it, so you could basically walk up.
Cool.
Like you see the Bronco Raptor, and you're like, I want to know what this feels like to drive. You could then like sign up, give Ford all your information, sign your life away, hop in a motion rig, and drive it.
So they were using official mods.
I don't know official mods, but they were using, I think, their own.
They would have built the content. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have been R-Factor
that was pretty
Pro.
Cool.
instead of 2.
It could have been, actually, yeah. The HUD was the same as R Factor 2, but it may have been
the
R
modern.
Factor Pro.
Yeah.
So the HUD was the same as no, wait, the HUD has not changed.
Yeah, the
I
HUD,
was thinking
the
about the
HUD
GUI.
hasn't changed.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about the graphic user interface. That one has changed. But the HUD is the same.
But yeah, so that was the coolest thing that the teams brought. Of course, there was merch tables for or merch covered things for because Texas, it was like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. So everything was covered, which was good. But the 2 coolest things in the reflecting pool area, there is a platform out in it. I don't exactly know how they get the cars out. They probably just put a thing out and drive it across. But they brought Porsche brought their IMSA 963. So there was a IMSA Porsche 963 on the water.
Oh, cool!
So I got my photo with that.
Nice.
That was pretty neat. You can get all up nice and close. And then Cadillac brought a pink fading to carbon GTP hypercar.
Yeah.
Pink at the front is like this, like sort of a fuchsia-ish pink.
We've got
to carbon.
We've got the blue, gold, and yellow ones.
This
We've
one
got the
was
red
pink.
one as well.
And
Iron Lady's going Cadillac next year.
Iron Lady, yes! Iron Dame's in a Cadillac GTP car. Let's go.
That would be fun. I think, though, before you get too super excited, the concept of a pink Cadillac in American culture has existed for a long time, right?
Absolutely.
So it's probably something that came from that. But then another thing that was particularly interesting to me about that car was it had a 2 on the side. In lieu of a number plate, and that 2 was the kind of 2 that goes over and links all the way back around, kind of like a 9 would. And it's the same 2 that was on the Le Monster Cadillac prototype from the 50s that raced at Le Mans. So that was a really cool throwback. It was the same number font, they just slanted it.
There was this female race driver who always raced in a pink car.
Donna Mae Mims.
American. Exactly.
Yes.
What number
she was a Texan.
What number was she using?
Let me actually look up. I think it was 35, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I've actually plug for my mods on Race Department. I made one of her cars actually
cool.
for Assetto Corsa. So I'm gonna pop on there. This was like around the beginning of this year. Yeah, okay, March of 2024. Yeah, I released Austin Healey Sprite SCCA Nationals 1963. Number 23 was her number.
23.
And yes, she raced a. We're really getting into like racing history here. But yeah, Donna Mae Mims was a secretary for Don Yanko, who, if you're into Corvettes, you know that name. If you're into anything Chevrolet Performance, you know that name or should know that name. Yeah. And she got tired of sitting behind a desk. She wanted to go racing, so her husband bought her a Corvette, C1 Corvette, to go racing in the SCCA championships. And she was very dominant in that. But her one thing was that she wanted to paint the car pink. Yep. Her husband would not let her paint the car pink. And so she got rid of the husband, kept the car, and wrote "Think Pink" on the back of it. And then all of her cars throughout her career, she painted hot pink. And one of these was an Austin Healey Sprite. And that she won the H production.
For all our viewers and listeners, Google the name, check Wikipedia, because she is the image of a Southern belle, blonde, very, very well set up hair, like really a Southern lady. And then she drove like a devil, it seems.
Yes. Best of all worlds.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, glad you brought her up. I believe she was my for Women's History Month. She was my favorite female driver in our question.
That sounds right.
I think
that sounds right.
Only fitting that she would come up again.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we have no fixed length on these podcasts, but I think we're. It was thankfully a little bit of a quiet month in August. We still managed to go for an hour and a half. So,
plus,
ladies and gents,
we cannot because we cannot stop babbling.
This is the problem: is we're going to be stuck together for 3 days, and it's gonna get. Wait, we've got an Airbnb. We can do the podcast in the Airbnb.
Oh, of course. I already have everything planned for that.
I totally blanked on that when we were thinking that. I was just thinking about practicality. Oh, that's so cool.
It's going to be a whole lot better than the last time where we did it live there in a big open lobby.
I have enough lights. I bought some lights. I have enough microphones. So yeah, I have been planning for that.
So here's the question, and everyone get excited about this. Who do we invite back to our place?
So there is 2 people that I've already talked to that may be part of the but not saying any names because they are not confirmed.
No. But it's as I say, it was that's literally only just dawned on me that's a really cool thing.
Hey, Fanatec representative, you want to come back to my place and we can extend our shafts?
3. Now that I remember,
I've seen your shaft. Do you want to see mine?
Exactly. 3 because now that I remember,
it's got an Ace on the side.
We'll have to ask Thrustmaster if they're going to make shaft. Imagine buying a Thrustmaster shaft extension and it's not a sex toy.
Welcome to WromComms, the porn podcast.
If they don't call it the 9000, they've missed an opportunity. Oh no. So if just in case you were wondering, this is probably going to continue for the next month, and when you see the next episode of WromComms, we will still be talking about Fanatec Shaft. But in the meantime,
it's at least as good for jokes as was the Mattel Harry Potter vibrating broom. Yes. What? They published a Harry Potter broom that was vibrating, and there were a lot of teenage girls who wanted a Harry Potter broom for their quinceañera or stuff like that.
I'm staying out of this one.
That's just disappointing. Anyway,
it sold out very fast until Mattel recognized what they had done there.
Yeah,
I'm pulling a Shaq. Delete me from this conversation.
Yeah, right. Unless either of you gents have anything more to add, I think we're about done for this month. We're entirely cooked. Question of the month: what do you want to see at Sim Racing Expo?
Oh, well,
go on.
Yeah.
No. Go on. No, go.
I mean, you already started the question of the month by asking.
Oh, cool.
By asking Cody, what was in his opinion the best sounding engine? So we can expand that question.
What's the best sounding engine in
racing
current production, or in racing historically?
It's your question, so you decide.
Oh, okay. What is the best sounding engine, either by decibel or by audio quality, of any current racing cars? Cars that aren't being run around in historic series, for example, like the old GTP cars don't count because yes, they're taking part in a race series, but it's less of a race series and more of a show. Competitive modern day racing. What's the best sounding engine? I still say 911.
I hate you for limiting it like that, because I had the serious like far and away winner of the BMW engine that was in the McLaren F1 and the Pagani Zonda. So I've got to pick a new one. So give me a second. Come back to me. No,
you're all good. You're all good. As I say, that's the reason why I limited it down, because there's so many fantastic historical engines that the Cadillac's great. The new GTP is great. But you compare that to the 787B, you compare it to the McLaren F1, you compare it to the what was that Spiker? The Spiker C8 was another really, really good sounding GT car. But they're all gone now. And obviously this is going to date the podcast Something Chronic as well.
Yeah. So the ones that are currently running in Year of Our Lord 2024.
COTA, what's your favorite of the modern cars? I know this is a difficult one.
I gotta say I'm drawing a blank here. I will have to write it in the comments, because at the moment I wouldn't be able to say, oh, that sounds better than that one or that one. So.
Yeah, if it's such an obvious answer, I got to go for it, especially since I got to see it. The Cadillac, the Cadillac hypercar is just tremendous. That thing, like it is. You can hear all the cars coming as they go around when they're getting close. I don't think you ever really truly stop hearing the Cadillac as it goes around.
It's like the Garage 56, Camaro from Le Mans.
Yeah.
The rest of the cars come and go, but the Camaro was constant. Mm-hmm. There's only three things that are constants in life: death, taxes, and the Cadillac GTP.
Yep.
But with all of that, we'll, I think, call it there. We're having to record this a day early because Cody has the poor graces to be doing other stuff and having a life.
Going outside and touching grass, like, excuse me,
yes,
what?
Which again, COTA, everybody go and touch grass. It's very important. Yes, Cody.
I'm doing more car stuff actually this weekend. Tomorrow.
Yes.
So I will have been there by the time this comes out. But tomorrow, yes, I am going to the Hotwheels Legends Tour as they come to Dallas, Texas.
Hell yes.
So that's going to be cool as hell. I will say hi to Twin Mill and Diora 2 for you.
Thank you. That'd be awesome. Oh, man. Half jealous. We've got British GT at Donington this weekend.
Ooh. I
would go, but I don't want to get rained on by airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not know that, Cody?
I didn't. Are the Germans still doing bombing runs?
No. So right. So the back straight of Donington, yeah, mm-hmm. where you can either go left into the GP loop or right on the national circuit. Yeah, that bit, right? That's on the glide path to the East Midlands Airport. And aeroplanes dump their fuel on the track if they're too heavy when they come to land.
I see.
It's normal.
Literally.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not normal to have it on a racetrack. But the dumping fuel is normal. But yeah, so what ends up happening is you go around. You go up the hill around the corner. You come onto that really horrible blind right-hander, and all of the grip disappears because there's fuel on the bloody track.
I see. Oof.
So, yeah, that's
because fuel is just another kind of oil at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter if it's synthetic or melted dinosaurs. It's still a type of oil.
Is that why my car wouldn't start?
Why? Not enough dinosaurs.
No, if you're putting fuel in your oil reservoir
in your engine. Oh, I opened it up and it all looked really nice, clean and shiny. Yes. That's the problem. Anyway, with that, I think that's about us done. Cert is going to put his best currently in production exhaust or engine or car note in the comments below once he's whittled it down from all of the pretty decent options that we now have, especially in the WEC and IMSA.
And we encourage you to do the same.
We do, absolutely. Put them down there, and we'll have a discussion about them at Sim Racing Expo. That's going to be the next podcast, is it? Or should we?
Nope.
Should we
Before
have
that,
one we have one in that.
We have one at the beginning of October with the very special guest, and then we have the one at the Sim Racing Expo with at least one special guest, maybe more.
We might. Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. May have a whole party. God, that'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I know.
Buy drinks.
I know of one person who is already looking forward to having breakfast with us.
Oh, that's cute.
Because he was already having breakfast last year. Remember who?
I remember.
Yeah.
So, no.
Sure.
It's
well, okay, whatever.
Okay. No, all I was gonna say is having breakfast with us is a very, very, very relaxed affair because none of us talk because we have no voices left.
I don't know about you. I talk at breakfast.
Damn Yanks. But anyway, we all have to get going. It's getting very, very well, and it's getting mediocrely late. Everybody is this is still a normal work day for all of us today. But any more, gents, before we sign off?
Vroom.
No. Vroom. No, it's Vrom. It's Vrom. It's Vrom, not Vroom. Vroom, get it right. Without further ado then, remember to always be excellent to each other, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium next month at SRE.
Bye.